Hi there, this is Mrs. Piper. We are getting ready to begin our new unit on learning about and exploring proportion. Proportion is one of our principles of design, and it involves understanding the size of objects as they relate to other objects. So for this lesson, you're going to need your paper, your pencil, and you may wish to have your ruler. It is not absolutely necessary, but you may wish to have your ruler. And in Blend, you are going to have this information, and I'm not going to go over a lot of it right now, and again, it's in Blend, but it is the vocabulary that you'll need to know for this unit and the steps that we will be following to create our human face. So proportion, just to let you know, proportion is the size of an object as it relates to another object. In other words, you have to have at least two things to compare with one another to make sure something is in proportion. For example, if I have, let's say, an eye, somebody might say, well, is that in proportion? And to be honest, you can't really tell, because if the nose is drawn super small and the mouth is super small, then no, the eye is not drawn in proportion. But if the eye is drawn in proportion with the nose and the mouth, then yes, you would be able to answer that it is in proportion. So we need to understand that the human face has certain characteristics that help you understand proportion. So when we are exploring proportion, we will be drawing the human face, and we're going to do that in 10 steps. Okay? The first thing that I would like for all of you to know is that your two vocabulary words for this unit are right at the top of this form. Proportion, again, the size of an object as it relates to another object. Okay? Like the size of your eyes as they relate to the size of your face. Okay? And to bisect, if you think about it, a bicycle has two wheels. To sect, to cut. So to bisect something is to cut into two. So we're going to be exploring these two vocabulary words, and we're going to be going over the steps of drawing the human face in 10 steps. So your Blend document will have all 10 steps on it. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing you have to do, you'll need your paper and your pencil, and I'm going to open up my sketchbook. Now, if we were in class, if everybody were in class, we would write the step and then we would draw it. We would write the step and then we would draw it. But because we have Blend, I'm going to go ahead and just give you the steps so that you don't have to draw, you don't have to write them, but you will be drawing them. So our very first step, step number 1, says to draw an oval. It might be round, it might be thin, it might be egg-shaped. So when you think of people's faces, some people have round faces, other people have egg-shaped faces, other people have thin, some have square jaw lines. So you're going to be drawing an oval on your paper. And to draw an oval, I want you to take a note of my wrist. When I need to draw an oval, you're not going to have a template to trace. So you've got to kind of use your wrist as a compass. So if I take my pencil and I just rotate it on my wrist, watch what my wrist is doing. And then I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to rotate my paper and I'm going to draw the side of the oval and the other side. Now, I would recommend that you draw it fairly lightly so that if you have to erase part of it, you'll be able to do that fairly easily. But there's my oval. Now I'm going to bring it up a little bit so that it's parallel, or symmetrical, I should say. It's not really parallel. It's symmetrical to this side. So the very first step is to draw an oval. Now you'll notice I used my wrist as a compass, and I sketched fairly firmly with my paper, on my paper. This first time, your guidelines are going to show, and I'm going to draw dark so that you can see all of the guidelines that I use. But later on, when you're drawing your second and third face for practice, you will definitely want to press lightly so that you can erase your guidelines easily. Okay? So what have we done? We have done step 1. Draw an oval, round, thin, egg-shaped, etc.